For no further ado, and Bob, do we have the stream started yet?
The live stream is up. Y'all get out to @Whoop Pass the Hat, WHUP Pass the Hat on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And you can see the high-def audio married to the high-def studio broadcast audio in all its wonderful glory.
Speaking of friends, some of my oldest friends and fondest friends, Alex and Leilon, welcome back again.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
How's life been for you?
Kim. Things are interesting.
Life is an interesting place.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my latest.
8 o'clock this morning, we were performing in Raleigh for 7th graders.
Oh, and how do seventh graders, is that a good audience?
They were good. I
Yeah.
love the diversity of music.
Yeah.
You know, and tonight, we were doing Latin and African influenced music. Tonight, there'll be nothing like that.
Well, we know
different.
that your music is eclectic and ubiquitous, if that's the right word, because you've both traveled extensively. We'll get down to that here in a little bit, but you've been here before. You know, we like just to jump in and start with a song. So if you'd be so kind.
Okay, this is called Upon Waking. Upon Waking. This is one that we composed.
Upon waking into a dream or from a dream. Here we
It's
go.
a riddle.
Yay. I don't know about you guys, but I was laying down next to a creek and someone was putting those heated river stones on my back.
Nice. Meditative, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very nice. It's a recorder, is it?
This is an alto recorder.
So they come in. It looks like
Come
saxophones in different
sizes.
types.
The
eh?
sopranino, that was I was showing the kids in the school today. There's soprano, that's right here. There's alto, there's tenor, and there's bass, but I don't play the bass.
I'm not sure I've ever, and I don't know much about recorders, but I'm not sure I've ever heard anybody bend a note in quite that way. Is that difficult to do?
Recorder players aren't supposed to. I actually don't. I say I'm a flute player because it gives when you say recorder, people think of fourth grade recorder, and what I do is that's why I went into school today and showed them all the different ones and what you can do with the instrument.
But you found a note between a note or something.
Yeah, you
in
can.
there?
I'll do that. You can bend notes.
Yeah, very nice.
You can do that. It's basically like any bamboo flute or, it's the silver flutes. I don't think you could do. Maybe you can. I don't know. I don't play silver flute, but with the keys you can't do that. But with the holes, you could work. You could work the notes. It's an owl.
And Leilani, that's a very interesting instrument. Tell us about that.
It's a seal tongue drum, and the brand is Happy. It's a happy drum.
It's a happy drum.
HAPI.
Happy
drum.
yeah.
And there are specific notes around.
They are, and it's a particular key, which I can't remember. Alex bought
This
this
is
for
C-
my birthday.
C minor. That one. Is C
Yeah.
minor.
Okay.
Well, it's more or less. I mean, it's got notes that you can go relative keys with it.
Well, very beautiful song. And we're going to talk a little bit later about your compositional process between the two of you, both individually and collectively. But we are here to enjoy as much music as we can. So what do you have for us next?
We're going to do another song that we composed together.
Waves at Play.
This is a more playful note, and this is going to bring out my doumbek. My doumbek, most people think of me as a conga player, but this is actually my first drum that I brought, my first doumbek in Damascus, Syria, and traveled overland with it.
That's where you got that?
That's where I got my first one. That was back in 1977.
Wow.
And there's some very interesting metal work on there too.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Embossed.
They nowadays the more common ones are made of ceramic and they use synthetic skin. This is kind of the old style. This is goat skin that I put on, and old style, ancient like Egypt, Babylon. That's the origins of the doumbek.
And that's a silver drum?
What?
Is that a silver drum?
So it's really like a brass, a mixture of metal, copper,
Okay.
and tin, and
So
whatever
it looks
else.
very lightweight.
Fairly lightweight and an amazing diversity of sound for a little drum.
Wow.
Doumbek.
I like it.
I wouldn't have expected that.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Get ready for the journey.
Nothing to it. Thanks.
Could you just play that song for like the next 30 minutes? Because
Yes.
I was kind of into that.
I have to ask it's a really obvious question, and I'm going to apologize. But do you play sometimes for live yoga and other sorts of movement classes like Tai
leads into a
Chi?
whole other category. I'll
We've
let you-
created a workshop based on the Chinese philosophy, the 5 elements, and we do incorporate a lot of this sort of relaxing meditative music
Reflective
into it. Yeah, and we've called it Tones for Your Bones.
And
like
do you do the movement coaching, or do you play the music and then other people coach the movement?
So we've played the music together, and I've taught qigong, and we've
Oh,
also
yeah.
have another qigong instructor that collaborated with us last year, Arthur Link, and then I teach the acupressure, and I lead the meditations. So it is appropriate for yoga too. So if any yoga studio is interested, we are available with this type of music. Correct, Alex?
That's correct. And one of the CDs I have out is called Reflective. What is it
Oh,
called?
Moonchild.
Moonchild, right? It's reflective moods that evolved from playing music, composing and playing music around her doing qigong. We'd traveling places wherever in a park or by the beach, and I would watch her movements, and I would start working on melodies, some of them that I already knew that fit the mood. So it was that's how we started collaborating.
Well, this is an angst-ridden world, but even as Bob said, in the last 10 minutes or so, I'm feeling, this peace come through the studio.
Exactly. This is good stuff.
Well, we got the
So
theme,
thank
the
you.
water theme. We actually compose these songs in the winter on this particular drum. So water and winter is one of the Chinese 5 elements.
So we have asked everybody who's come through the last 2 years, how has this unusual time been for your creative processes? But for you, you've continued to produce music.
Yeah, you need to be resourceful. So it has altered things. The frustrating thing for me, it was a joy to be playing for those 7th graders. 2.5 years we couldn't play. Because I can play percussion, but I can't use a mask and play recorders and horn and harmonica. So we were, we couldn't do school performances. We did some online. It's not the same for me. I like being in an auditorium with people,
Well, and I liked doing Zoom. In part, I could do it, and the tech stuff was okay. But I was much more focused on Zoom because I didn't have a whole group of people, kind of holding my attention. So I think I perform better on Zoom than I do in live, or I'm more myself.
But I get excited. I like interacting with the kids and coming up with. I had them comparing. I have this recorder is an Alus. I just got the other day online for $44, including postage.
What?
$44. I didn't bring it tonight, but this morning I held up my Rosewood alto recorder for $950. So, and I said to the kids, these are gifted kids, supposedly. This is a magnet school. I said, so tell me, how much did I save if I bought this recorder rather than, let's do the math.
A lot.
We're supposed to integrate art into the curriculum so that's my creative way of. But really, I'm saying, and I played one song with one and the other song with the other, and you really the plastic recorder is really good.
Well, don't plan on doing that kind of math lesson down in Florida because they frown on anything creative in the
That's
math
a little
classroom.
woke for them.
I'm just saying, I wanted to make it like you can't get a good guitar for $44,
No,
but this is a good recorder.
it sounds wonderful. Sure does.
I do have to agree, though, that to me, the last 2 years has been very inward. So for me, creativity has just like blossomed.
Really?
Because I turned inward, and so creativity felt kind of endless, as like an endless source.
You're in the minority amongst the folks who have come and joined us on Pass the Hat. A lot of them said they expected exactly what you said, but the reality for them seemed to be they had this great intention of being super creative, but they found themselves doing anything but because their lives were kind of open to, I can go rake the leaves, mow the grass, work in the garden, go for a walk in the woods, and all these other things seem to be drawing them away from the creative process. it was interesting to hear people talk about it.
You need to be driven. You need to want to do it.
Sure.
You know, creativity isn't. You have to want to.
To me, it was allowing, though.
Yeah.
So I think for everybody, it might be a little different
Yeah.
what creativity
Right.
maybe looks like. Yeah.
Well, if we could hear a little more music, and then
All right.
we're gonna talk about how you build collaboratively these tunes.
This song is another one in these moods that still are on the reflective side. Another one that we composed. This is the first Happy Drum she got, and this is another piece that we composed together.
This is the camping version.
Well, basically, she composed it and said, "You do this. I want to hear this." Now, she didn't talk in terms of specifics. She said it should go like
Feel like this.
feel like this
Make it
here
feel like
and feel.
this.
I said, "Oh,
Well,
okay."
to me, that's giving you freedom to come up with whatever.
Yeah, it worked.
Mystery and clarity.
Mystery and clarity.
Hey, this is a whole lot of fun.
Leilani, you said that one was one that you composed and then shared with Alex and said, whatever wafts over you.
When we got this, I just started playing sound, and from there it just kind of let it float, and from there are
I
patterns.
forgot. I didn't see those.
pattern would come up.
And so does
And
that.
so the pattern, well, since I kind of know Alex likes rhythm, then from the pattern, there was a rhythmic feel that I knew he could use.
And then conversely, Alex, sometimes you have a melody that comes through yourself, and then you round that out and then share it back.
I think on this, I started first for a change.
Yeah, and this she pretty much composed and told me what.
I'm talking
when I
about
have
it
melodies-
in general.
Yeah.
When I have
all your other
melodies,
music.
I probably usually tell her what to do.
Yes.
I say, this is the rhythm that goes with this. Play it like this.
Basically,
that's-
for the first 10 years, he told me what to do musically, and for the last 10 years, I'm telling him what to do musically.
Yeah, we
Oh.
switch.
We're
So it's-
approaching equilibrium.
Some kind of karma is at play here. Well, it's and so, but the new music. So the music you're writing now is generally that way. Leilani
It's a
is feeding to you.
mixture. But we also do a lot of, I've been writing music for 40, 50 years.
Yep.
So we have this next song we're going to do, I wrote in 1970. I don't think I even had a recorder yet. I was playing a flute on the beach in Santa Cruz, California.
And so as these pieces are coming together, is there much evolution of them, or some people would call it revision, or how does that? Do you put together pieces of music fairly quickly?
You know, both things happen. Sometimes things get evolved or revised, and sometimes they, like Santa Cruz, I wrote a long time ago. We added the happy drum. We realized that she found her way to make it fit.
You heard that certain songs that he had composed worked with the notes that these two instruments have, and so he then joined them, and somehow we just came up with the pattern. I think he heard these notes enough that you then could tell which songs would go with it.
Well, I listened to the notes, and it's only got so many notes on there.
Well, you need to get the other one has. Does the other one have more notes than the small one?
Probably. I haven't counted.
Well, so the next
I
time you
just
come in, Leilani, they'll be like it'll be on a cart. They'll be.
They do come. There are several keys. What do you call them? Key sizes, but they all have 8 notes, I think. Yeah.
Have you ever played like the big steel drums things? Have you ever tried one of those?
I've tried. Yeah, they're a lot more expensive,
Yeah.
and
I didn't know
somehow-
whether is that the same sort of technique or.
It's shaped like a walk, like you say.
No,
This one
it's
is this
different
way.
in that it's actually most of them that I
sorry.
know of actually are more like they have all the notes more like a piano. They have steps. I think they have more.
They have more
These
notes,
are more
yeah.
selected. They're more modal. Like there's a certain mode that these play in. I have a balafon that only has it's a pentatonic scale. It's one of the most widely played scales in this world. From Taiwan to the Andes Mountains, pentatonic. They're different, but they're all 5 notes is all you need. And the simplicity of it and the beauty of it, I take it to seniors and I have them play it. I go around because you can't mess up. They all the notes sound good. Maybe next time I'll bring one of those.
It sounds like a challenge because I can make anything sound bad.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, there are certain.
So
Yeah, there's just different ways of approaching. There's something about
simplicity. I agree.
simplicity,
Yeah.
and there's also something about contrariness. So I'll take something simple and see how complicated I can make it, and I'll take something complicated and see how simple I can make it. I wrote a piece in 7/4, and I said, "Look, make this sound like you don't notice it's in 7/4." You know, it's called "Life Goes On" one of my CDs. I know. I think there's a certain contrariness that many creative people have. You know, it's kind of like you want to do it different, just naturally. You know, I listen to the radio once in a while, and then when anyone says, "This is the so-and-so, stay tuned, keep your dial tuned," I immediately change it.
We never say
Just be
that.
contrary.
I'm contrary.
So
maybe
now
I
you
shouldn't be saying this.
now you're holding a smaller recorder.
Huh?
What do we have here right
This
now?
is a soprano recorder.
Soprano,
Pretty
okay.
much traditional that the 4th graders use. And so this is the song that was written on the beach at sunrise back in, 70-somethings. Actually, it took years because the first half of the song was really simple, and then it needed something more, but I didn't know the recorder. It took a while. It evolved. And then, of course, just, in the last few years, Leland added we brought it into the collection of our happy drum recorder stuff.
Nice.
All right.
Nice and simple.
Simple.
This one.
Think of the beach
Like being
and the
on the-
ocean
yeah.
and the sun coming out.
Watching the
Right.
sunrise.
I'm on it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I have to.
Concentrate. Take a deep breath.
I'm also looking at the wrong music here. Not that
Take a deep breath, like you've told the students today. Take a deep breath.
2, 3, 4.
Nice. I was on the beach.
Do you ever collaborate with singers or vocalists?
I wanted to. Yeah. I mean, but we haven't. Yeah. Oh, no, Shayna Adams.
Shayna, yeah,
Shayna Adams is a
and she's been
vocalist.
part of Tones for Your Bones, and we've
Before.
collaborated. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a singer, and she
That
does.
was 2 years ago, yeah, was when we collaborated with her. And then she moved away last year back to Asheville.
She's a trained vocalist too. I mean, she has beautiful voice, and there's some pieces I wrote. She looked at the music and sang it, and it was really one of them. Introducing Clarity is.
Cello
one of my
is the instrument I've also heard. So it's a nice collaboration. Cello, yeah.
I could
So-
hear that. I could totally hear that with your music,
Yeah.
especially with the tongue drums and cello. I can see those really blending nicely together.
So if there's any cello players out there and they
If you
want to
like this, contact us.
go to so there's a piece on my website that we did. I composed the music. It's called Mysterious Earth, and we made it into a video. There's photos of our travels all over, from the Himalayas to the Andes Mountains to the desert to Mexico and Taiwan, and the pictures in the behind while the music's behind, and as you see these visuals, and that's right on the website, which is silentdaysmusic.com, DAYZE.
Just flash back to a number of years ago when I was still working. We were in RDU, and I saw the two of you. And it was the middle of winter. I was headed to some bitter, awful. I think it was Hartford, Connecticut, and you were on your way to Cuba or somewhere wonderful. And so it's.
Somebody made a better choice.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about your travels here in a minute, but we are approaching the top of the hour, and this is WHUP LP Hillsboro.
And we are at the top of the hour. That means it's another hour. Well, it'll be another hour in 9 seconds or so. So we have a sponsor for the second hour of the show, which is Matthew's Chocolate. Support for this hour of Pass the Hat is sweetly provided by Matthew's Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsboro, North Carolina. Stop by and get all of your chocolate needs and chocolate accessories Everything they make there is exquisitely handcrafted and fantastic. And if you're watching the live stream, you see Leland holding up this wonderful box of chocolates that Matthew put together for them tonight. And every guest that joins us here on Pass the Hat gets chocolate. So,
thank you.
y'all, if you like chocolate, and this is good chocolate, the way you get it is you come beyond Pass the Hat.
Well, Matthew's probably a little busy right now with last Friday and the streets teeming with people. So,
And
Matthew,
Mother's Day
thank you.
coming up,
Yes.
graduation, everything is a chocolate holiday, isn't it?
And also the WHUP Fundathon.
That's
Coming
right.
up
That
next
starts
week.
on Sunday,
Oh,
but
that's
you
right.
can mention it now.
Well, Bob and I are going to be out and about tomorrow.
Yes.
Just kicking off the WHUP Fundathon. So stay tuned next week to this station so that you can find out how to sponsor this community radio station that is so important to all of us listening.
Yes.
I thought coming back from Finland, you would have said oat and a boat or something. Oh, that will be when you come back from Canada.
That will be
Out-
when I come back from
out in a
Canada
boat.
this summer. Yes.
You were having fun international travels.
Yes, I am.
Well, we are so pleased to be here, and everybody who has been supporting us all these last 6 years. If you would get out there on the website, you can do it. You don't have to wait till Sunday or Monday. You can do it right now and reach down, and whatever little bit you have, we'd appreciate.
Absolutely. Everything that you donate goes to keeping us on the airwaves over the summertime, and y'all need us over the summertime.
Well, what have we next? There's a bottle. What's in the bottle?
I know there's these creations. There's music, there's CDs, there's videos, and there's Alex's vinaigrette and marinade.
Oh, gee.
I've been doing this also for over 40 years.
What?
Usually it started as Christmas presents. And so many people said, you should sell this stuff. Finally, just a few months ago, I said, all right, I will. And so now it's out for sale, just like out of my car, the CDs and my book, which is somewhere around, and the salad dressing.
I guess vinaigrette, even in the heat of your trunk, would probably
No.
still hold up okay.
I need to get, it just started getting warm now. I need to get one of those little coolers with ice in
No,
it.
but you really do make them in very small batches, like by the dozen, so they get sold.
Yeah, a matter of
pretty
fact, this is the
quickly.
last of that batch right there.
So if you want some of Alex's vinaigrette and you want some of Alex's vinaigrette, you go out to the website, silentdaysmusic.com. Go to Creative Endeavors.
No, it's got its own label right
Oh,
there.
okay, right there on the
Alex's
banner.
Vinaigrette. There's Creative Endeavors because collaborations. But there is Alex's Vinaigrette is right there, and the whole story of how it evolved and how I made it. And I have friends all across the country that keep their bottles and wait for me to go visit them and make it for them. Yeah.
So how long does this last? If you have to wait for you to get there, it could
Well,
take
They're
years.
pretty patient. I was planning with. Usually I go to Arizona every couple of years, but when COVID hit, I haven't been able to get out there.
But that's a good point. If you live in the Triangle area and you buy 3 bottles or more, Alex will bring it to you.
Thank you, Bob.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's free delivery of the best vinaigrette you've ever had.
Goes well with Matthew's chocolate.
Probably.
In the same meal, maybe not in the same
Not on
bite.
top of it, but sort of a your diverse menu.
I can't do this show with a straight face anymore.
Well, we are here to enjoy the wonderful music of Alex and Leland Weiss. And what do we have next?
This next song is made popular by Herbie Mann, a flute player.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know Herbie Mann?
Oh, yes.
I used to long ago play the flute. And I used to follow the, 5 famous flute players that we're all aware of.
Another versatile flute player. And and not just him, there's a lot of jazz music. I lean towards jazz that bridges the jazz blues soul kind of connection. And this song is called Coming Home Baby, which is one of those. It's kind of a bluesy jazz. Or maybe a jazz person would call it blues. And a blues person would call it jazz. That's how it kind of falls sometimes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Great.
And this will be our last piece on the happy drum. And so if you like this style of music, plus some eclectic things, Tones for Your Bones, the YouTube channel is where this material resides.
Checking now.
Sweet.
I found the YouTube channel. I found tones for you've got a whole cast of characters.
Yes, that was
On-
our creativity over the last 2 years. It's like 80 videos, I think.
Well, yeah,
how
because I
fun.
was looking at it, and it's very different from what we're seeing in the studio today. You had a whole cast of people doing a widely diverse. You use the movement and the and
Live
some of-
practices,
Yeah.
for wellness.
I did not expect that, so that's going to be fun to check out. I subscribed, so if your subscribers went up, that was me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I just put out a new video today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I will check it
Called
out.
Forest bathing.
It's one of my favorite activities.
Nice. As Alex says, he likes to present variety, so this is a whole different, I wouldn't say a whole different feel.
Yeah. What's going to happen now?
That's a tumbadora. The congas are a family, just like the recorders, and each one really has a different name. The lower drum, this is called the tumbadora, and the middle drums people generally call conga, and the higher drums called the quinto. So we're going to play a Brazilian samba,
All right.
right?
Yes.
Are we?
Are you going to dance, Kim?
Do we have time?
I was going to
We're
ask the
doing all
same
right?
thing of you, Bob.
Because we got a couple more songs after this.
Got plenty of time.
We
Yeah?
got lots
All
of
right. I feel like I'm far away from you now, but
I know, right? You want to get closer?
was different. I was dancing in my chair.
We'd spoken earlier about your extensive travels, and I'm assuming that the different music that you've run into and immerse yourselves in wherever you go then finds its way into your compositions?
To some extent, well, certainly the Latin, the Cuban influences, but I've been composing since before first I traveled all through this country, every state. I hitchhiked through in 1970 everywhere.
Even the Deep South. Good for you.
Yeah, I was in every state except for Michigan. I somehow never was in the way. But then when I settled in the Northwest, I got into country music. I was influenced by lots of different styles. But growing up in New York, I was also influenced by lots of different music even before I left. So I'm sure the different places, what I like is going and playing in different places and, meeting different musicians and using my ears, sitting in and seeing, okay, where can I fit in? What can I add to this? Where can I learn from this?
Well, speaking to that, what things about music worldwide are universal instead of different?
For sure, music brings people together. And we would notice that while traveling, you kind of like the Pied Piper. We travel with Alex, he would just go out to the local park or, walk. We usually like to walk wherever.
Start playing, things happen. We've gotten invited to play in restaurants from playing in the park. They said, the guy from the chef said, come on, tonight, come up. We were on that island in Roatan. And, all kinds
meet
of
different musicians that then invite us.
In Peru, in that really good band, that Peruvian band. Things happen, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely it dissolves, whatever barriers there might be.
I mean, that's how I met her. I was looking for someone to help me promote, for the band, and she said, well, I got to hear you play first. And so she went out and heard me, and I was playing in this duo, and she kind of said, I don't know.
No expectations, really. It wasn't like we're going out looking for a relationship.
No, right. It didn't happen but she liked the energy to like what I was doing, and
I like the contrasts of what he was doing. Putting over the rainbow to Cuban
rumba.
Rumba, yeah.
That's what we were doing this morning with the kids. Okay, now we have a piece that. So one of our travels was to Peru. Well, we've been to Peru twice, and after the first visit, I wrote a book about our travels. And so the book is kind of a travel book, incorporating both, talking about the culture of the people of the Andes, and also about my experiences with different things, our experiences, really.
Like Cusco and the Sacred Valley and Machu Picchu, and with our friend Michelle, who used to play with Alex.
This is part of my band, yeah.
I think the picture we used to promote tonight's show was a picture of y'all in Peru, at Machu Picchu, wasn't it?
Right, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there's the book that's also available along with the salad dressing and the 9 CDs. And and this is a song I wrote. Just as you were saying, Kirk, this was influenced by my travels in Peru, I think. It was definitely influenced by the Peruvian music, by Andean music. I call it Quechua mood. Quechua is the language that's used in the Andes.
Whether you composed it after went to
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Neither can I. But I know I was listening to Peruvian music before I went to Peru. Same thing with Cuba. Those places I was early on drawn to those styles. So I can't remember when I wrote it for before or after, but again, there's a pentatonic scale, and there's a section in this music that uses that pentatonic scale. Not to get too technical.
Perfect.
That's how it kind of ties in. How does it go now? Let me think. 1, 2, 3.
were talking about all of your global travels outside of this country, and I was wondering, especially with the nature of what you're playing, do you ever play Native American flutes or Native American music?
I do. It's again on the CD. You're going to be playing one song from that CD, "The Moonchild."
Mm-hmm.
There's a Native American piece by a Native American named Tony Shearer, and he wrote a beautiful story. And actually, the piece is just within the story. It's called "Song for the Earth Mother" is the name of the piece, and I have a Cherokee flute that I use for that song.
Nice.
So I that's not a major part. I love that song and I love that story, and I incorporate it, but. Yeah, it's not a major part of what I do, the Cherokee. I have a whole wall full of bamboo flutes, and usually when I go traveling, I take one of them. That's how I got into bongos. Mostly I play congas. These drums, which you're not seeing me touch, but that's okay. Whenever I traveled for a long time, I would take them because you can get them on the plane. I stuff them with clothes. It's easy to travel. And each time I traveled and played the bongos, I got a little better and a little better. And then I got to Cuba. Whoa. Man, Cuba's where the bongos come. They emanate from there. And I got to hang out with some really, really great musicians. And Leon says it rubbed off on me.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, between the two of you, in all of these, you've really embedded yourself, it sounds like, in this music. Do you speak multiple languages so that you can really embed with those who have held this music as part of their culture and learn about it?
My English is good.
Yeah, I'm fluent in Spanish, so I think a lot of our travels have been to Spanish-speaking countries.
I was wondering about that because when you were in Peru, I know that there are indigenous languages and there's also, of course, Spanish, the sort of imperial language. And I was wondering, I thought, well, how do they navigate that? Like, how can you embed yourself with native music? And how do you navigate the language and really understanding?
When we toured, we toured in Cuba. Not in Cuba. We went to a week-long, 10-day, 8-day festival that we performed at, and she became the leader of the band. It was our band, a 4-piece band, and her Spanish is so good, better than her English. She jokes in Spanish where she doesn't on stage joke in English. Like, she's so comfortable relating to people in Spanish. And her Mandarin is also excellent. She speaks 3. Yeah, she's Taiwanese. So yeah, she's definitely an asset to have when you're traveling.
Well, I think we'd say it's mutual because Alex speaks a universal language of music, and so he doesn't really need to speak Spanish when we go traveling to Spanish-speaking countries. I'll do all the talking, and whatever he needs to know, I'll translate. And so I think as a pair, we go a lot of places easily.
Works well.
That's what I was going to interject with, is that music is that common language that you can share, even though you may not be able to converse in language. You still have the music that you can converse with.
And you get to know a person by how they play. I made friends just by sitting down and playing drums, for a half hour.
Right.
Yeah.
You feel you're the person.
You get that energy.
Listening to each other.
Their
It's
approach,
having
their
a
sense.
conversation. Yeah, without words.
It's definitely, I think, a really nice extra gateway to have the other languages, though.
Yeah.
Because it helps to fill in the gaps of those understanding. Because, I walk around in this body, right? And that only allows me so much access to things that are real and authentic. And when you have all of the languages, I'm sure that you have had greater access than maybe just the music would give you. So that's amazing that you're so versatile with languages. Yeah. Really is.
The subtleties conversations that she can have, in those areas, even like politics or cultural stuff that could be hard to explain, that Leland can observe and question and talk about. And we have one more. Is that okay?
It sounds fabulous.
This one comes from the Andes. This one comes from a Chilean group named Inti Illimani, one of my inspirations. And Inti Illimani, they toured all over the world for many, many years. I saw them at the Carolina Theater once. This song is called simply Alturas, which means up in the mountains in Quechua. And I dedicate this song to all the remaining cultures of of people still struggling, the traditional people, the indigenous people struggling to maintain their lifestyle, their land, their belief system, their language in the 21st century and what we call progress.
Amen. Yay. What a fantastic ending. Alex Weiss and Lee Lon winding up the live stream here on Pass the Hat. It has been a fantastic hour of live music. And y'all, do you have places where you're playing out anytime soon where people might come and see you?
Well, let's start with tomorrow. Tomorrow will be
at Horse and Buggy on Broad Street in Durham for a gallery opening, and we'll be playing.
It's actually they're closing.
Oh, they're closing.
It's a celebration of the last of this. The exhibit. Not the gallery isn't closing, but the exhibit.
They're closing the exhibit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And we're celebrating and playing music in front, 5 to 7.
Fun.
Broad Street, Durham.
And folks can get out to Silent Days Music, silentdayze music.com, and get the music, follow you wherever you're going to be going, get the vinaigrette, which you want 3 bottles and you want 3 bottles now, and all the other things.
Yeah, there's like collaborations with performing in Mexico and Cuba. There's all that. Some of that videos of us playing different places in the world is also there. Collaborations on songs of protests that I wrote.
It's a beautiful like collection of like your 40 years, right? 30 years of creativity. Yeah.
And if you have an idea for a collaboration, reach out.
Yes, give me a call. Yep.
All right, this is the point of the show where we turn off the live stream so y'all can wave goodbye to the live stream, and we're going to start playing some recorded music that you brought in for us to play.
Yes.
I'm trying to multitask, and I'm not very good at it. Okay, live stream is turning off.
Do you want me to
now.
talk a little about it?
Yeah, yes, I've got the song queued up, Bamboo Solo. If you want to give us an intro, then we will play it.
Yeah, so this is just an improv